would like to start by dedicating this sharing, as I call it, to my higher power. And I'd like everybody to have a little bit lull between Kathy and I. And I'm going to tell a joke, and I am the worst joke teller. I've been practicing it. These two young boys were up in their room, and one was 6 and one was 10 years old. And if you heard it, don't say anything. And the 10-year-old said to the 6-year-old, "Let's do cussing today." And the 6-year-old said, "Yeah, okay." And he said, you say hell, and I'll say ass. Says, "Yeah, that sounds good." So the older one goes down and he's sitting at the kitchen table, and he says, the mother said to him, "What would you like for breakfast?" "What the hell?" he said. I'll have Cheerios." And she said, "What do you mean, what the hell?" Bang, 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 bang. So the next one, he says, the mother said, "What would you like for breakfast?" And he said, "You bet your ass it isn't it."
You don't get it. You
don't get it?
I don't get it.
Cheerios.
Remember, he said hell, I'll have Cheerios, so he got beat, and he goes thinking he's getting beat because of the Cheerios. He goes, "You bet your ass I'm not having Cheerios."
Very good, Vivian. I wanted to let you all know that my foundation is from Al-Anon. Joyce and I have been in Al-Anon for 100 years.
101.
When I first went to Al-Anon, I was exercising at the Y pool with all these older women. I thought I was young. I was older than them. Anyway, I recognized a woman from program, a very nice woman. And I said to her, "Joan," that's not her name. I said, "Joan, how are you doing?" Because I had heard her share at different meetings. And she said to me, she looked right at me and she said, "Life is good." And I thought, bitch. What do you mean life is good? With all your problems, I said it to myself. I didn't say it to her. So anyway, when I got in Al-Anon, I just kind of sat there in that chair like the page that she read and just tried to absorb everything that was being said. And I wasn't doing too good, and I was, if they said not to enable, I enabled. Whatever they said, you know, try to get rid of your anger, do the steps, do the slogans, and I'm saying, yeah, when do I have time to do all that, you know? But then, as I kept going, I realized that how important it was to actually do the steps, and that's what I'm going to concentrate on tonight. And if any guy doesn't want to hear it, they can leave. I just want to go through the things that I learned from each step. Now, when I admitted that I was crazy or out of sorts, whatever you want to call it, and I was powerless, and my life was unmanageable, I learned a lot of things which I applied to my life, the best of my ability, and it's not perfect. And I realized that my loved ones who were addicted really did care about me and loved me. And that was a very big thing that I felt very hurt because I felt that they didn't care about me. But I know now that everything that we went through, that they loved me. I also learned that it was a disease, which I had no idea. I grew up with a sister and 4 brothers and my parents, and no one drank. We might have had a gin and tonic maybe in the summer, and I walked out of which my father made for me one night, and I walked out of the house, I couldn't find my car. I'm like, where's my car? But anyway, so I knew nothing about alcoholism until I realized that a lot of people in my family were addicted. It seemed like they were just, every time I thought of someone and their behavior, I realized it was from alcohol. And then I think of somebody else, and that went on and on and on and on. So as a disease, it's hereditary, and they seem to have this chemical imbalance. And then when I got to the 4th step, I realized that I had to look at myself, and my main thing was I needed to change. Because I was waiting for everybody else to change, and nobody was changing. And they haven't changed to this day, but I have changed. And I realized that enabling was crippling, was absolutely crippling to the addicts in my life and to the alcoholics. And I started to realize how important the steps were, because God, higher power, God, they were all through the steps. And I didn't think it meant me, because I went to church and I prayed, but I knew that something was missing, and it was actually my relationship with my higher power. In the sense that if I asked my higher power to help me, He would help me. And then I kept realizing that when I started to ask, things were happening to me. They were happening to me. This is not a success story where she went into recovery, my husband went into recovery, my daughter is an addict, my granddaughter is an addict, and none of them are in recovery. So, but that doesn't mean that I can't have a good life. And that's an important thing that I need to do. And I know in my heart that that's what my higher power wants for me. I needed a lot of things in my change. I needed compassion. I actually felt a real, I hate to say this word, hate, because I used to say they get up every day to ruin my life. And they didn't. I ruined my life by my behavior, my reactions to what they said and what they did. I did nothing to help them in the sense that I said, I respect you and I respect your dignity. And that really hurt me, because I thought that I was this compassionate person. But when I was put to the test with people that I loved and close to me, I mean, I would reach out to a lot of different people and try to help them, at my church and stuff, but not to them. They were on my X list, and that made me sicker and sicker. And then I went on with the steps, and then it says about a power greater than ourselves, whom I wish to call God. And at first I questioned, what is a higher power? And I thought, well, and when I kept reading and kept doing the steps, I realized that it was the God of my understanding. Not yours, but my understanding, my special relationship with this God. And I made a decision to give my will and my life over to God. And also my loved ones who were in addictions. And but I held on. I got in God's way. I kept taking them back. I'm the mother I'm an Italian mother. I have control over my family, and I'm going to do this because I just heard this thing, and tomorrow night I'm going to tell them, and it's going to change. Nothing ever worked. Nothing ever worked. So I turned my whole life over to my higher power, and that's when I got help for me. And I figured, what did I have to lose? I tried everything, and nothing worked. And that's how I got to ask my higher power 3 little words: I need help. And I'm not going to tell you about all the war stories because they're too hurtful to me. And then it went up to the 4th step, and when I heard I had to make a fearless inventory of myself, I just didn't know how to do it. So I tried to get humble and ask my higher power again to help me, which he did. And he always comes through, not the day I ask, or the next day, or maybe not the next month, maybe not the next year. But he comes through, because when I'm hurting, I turn to him and I ask for help. And I realized that in my situation, where nothing was changing on the part of my addicted loved ones, that I needed to do a frequent inventory. I just thought, like at night when I was falling asleep, I had to think about the day and what I did to hurt them, take away their dignity and their self-esteem. And little by little, that worked for me. And another big thing that I learned was that I had to have an attitude of gratitude for everything that I had, for my husband, who we're still together, and I'm grateful for that. And I go into his bedroom every night and kiss him goodnight and tell him that I love him. And that, a few years ago, I would have never done. Never. Because I told him that I hated him, that he made me sick, blah, 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 blah. On and on and on and on. Okay, and then when I was doing my inventory, what came to my mind was, what kind of person do I want to be? And thinking about that woman early in my recovery, of her saying life was good, I thought, I'm going to use one of the slogans, fake it till you make it. And that's what I did. Mm-hmm. I did that wherever I went, whoever I talked to. It wasn't a lie, but it was not the truth. It wasn't a lie, but it was not the truth. But I thought that, what do I want to be? What makes me happy? Okay. And what I really needed in my life was to be life-giving, instead of downing everybody, judging everybody. You know, that was my MO, thinking a lot of self-pity, you know. Nobody cared how I felt, you know, and just worrying and worrying and worrying. So I wanted to be the kind of person that was life-giving to everybody else and not judge them, because I need to see God in everyone that I meet. And about removing my defects of character, asking God to remove them. Number one, I didn't think I had any defects. And number two, when I did the 4th step, I realized that I had so many defects. I was resentful, I was angry, I was full of self-pity, and I didn't want to be like that. I wanted just be a normal person, whatever that is. I really don't know any normal people. That's my goal. I'm 77, and I need to Hurry up. So now I'm down to the, to the 11th step. And there is the God, again, of my understanding. God kept slapping me and slapping me and slapping me and saying, when are you going to wise up? I needed to be hit by a 2x4 by the side of my head. And I realized that this step meant that no matter how I perceive my relationship with my higher power to be, I needed to pray more. I needed to, I just needed to be a better person, in all areas of my life. And I have to make notes because I forget about everything. And down to the 12th step, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, I never had like a rainbow or a lightning hit me, which probably would have been really helpful. And, so I always said I didn't have a spiritual awakening, but then when I really looked at my life, I had one as I was going on and on and on and on. And it's because of the Naranon program, because that's where I am now. I said I graduated from Al-Anon to Naranon. I don't know where I'm going next, but I hope it's up there. Okay. I just wanted to let you know that I realized that this disease is horrific. Absolutely horrific. When I sat there trying to think of a word that describes the disease, I can't except horrific, and that's what I'm saying. But the important thing that I realized was that I have all the tools to make my life the way I want it to be. And I'm not talking about money or furs or diamonds or stuff like that. Just to be a normal person and appreciate everything about nature and what God has created for me. Just for me. Not you guys. Okay. Hope keeps me company. Hope keeps me company in times of fear. And when I realize that I'm getting fearful again, my granddaughter was in the crisis center twice, threatening suicide, and it's such a scary thing when you think you might lose them. But then my higher power gives me the know-how to say, I accept that. If I have to lose them, I'll be all right. I might be wacky, but I'll be all right. And I just wanted to mention briefly about how important the slogans are, because I used to think a lot. I had a diarrhea of the mouth. I figured if you made a statement, I had to correct that statement or give you a better idea, or what did I think I was, God? You know, getting in God's way, thinking that I knew better than you what you should do with your life. Okay, and I use the slogan, oh well, a lot, because it helps me lighten up and say, oh well, it is what it is. That's what we say all the time. The program is a journey. It's like, goes on and on and on and on. I love it. That's it. Thanks for letting me.